Hi, I'm Mike at Cleveland Aircraft Tool. We just got back from the Oshkosh 2022 Air Show, where we hadn't been for a couple of years, and it was just so great to be back. The weather was perfect the whole week, no thunderstorms to tear down our tents, and we enjoyed talking to old friends and made new friends. And one of those new friends are Ken and Melissa Viard. They have a YouTube channel, N14VE Victor Echo. And they ordered some tools from me. And they had mentioned that they had done some unboxing videos before and could do an unboxing video. And I said, well, why don't we do a boxing video too? So this is the boxing video, and then you can go to their channel to see the unboxing video and to see how they use the stuff. So let's get into it. They placed an order online on our web store. That I wanted to show their card here since it was hard to do with the other camera. So check out their YouTube channel. And then there's a packing list invoice that goes in the box, so I'm putting that in there, and then we'll talk about the first product. So this is the Deluxe Air Hose Kit, and it has the mini lightweight hoses that are very flexible, very lightweight connectors. So that's the big advantage of this kit. We also have just the hose by itself, but the kit allows you to plug 3 hoses in at the same time. So trying to show through the plastic here is a little hard to do, but on the end of this manifold block is a normal industrial interchange connector. So that's what you find in local big box stores, auto parts stores, whatever. So that'll go on your regular hose that you've been using. The heavy rubber hose that goes to the compressor will go on the end here. And then there's 3 miniature female couplings that these miniature plugs go into. So the kit itself comes with the manifold that you screw to I screwed it to the bottom of the bench bottom, I guess you would say, so that all 3 hoses can be under the bench. And then again, you can plug in 1, 2, 3, or 0 if you're cleaning up. And a lot of times you'll be switching between tools as you're building. So you'll be going along, say, squeezing rivets with a pneumatic squeezer plugged into the air, and a rivet won't go through the hole because of things slightly moving. So you'll need to ream that out again. So you unplug the pneumatic squeezer, plug in the drill, run the reamer through, unplug the drill, plug in the blowgun, blow the chips away, unplug the blowgun, plug in the squeezer. Get the idea. So this has the 3 hoses. You can leave your tools all plugged in at the same time. Very, very handy. The hoses are 10 feet long, and they have the small plug at one end and the small coupler at the other. So then, also included in the kit are, I should have taken another one out of the box to show, but we're doing the boxing video, right? So that here there's 6 of those miniature fittings that go into the tools. So here I have one of the miniature connectors that goes into the tool, and they're super lightweight, easy to connect, easy to disconnect, and take a lot of weight off of your tool compared to the normal large coupler that's on the end of the heavier hose. So that's the advantage: lightweight, super flexible, so you don't need a swivel, and you can put multiple tools on all at the same time. So I'm excited to see how Ken and Melissa use this in their shop. So that's going into the box here. And then more packing material. The next thing that they ordered, 2 things actually, are the 3M deburring wheels. Best friends in the shop. They're so much nicer to deburr with these than a file and some Scotch-Brite. So these come in 2 different grades. There's a 3M W7A6 is our part number, and it's a 6-inch wheel, 1 inch thick, and it's a density of a 7, so it's very, very dense. It feels like a piece of what's that called, MDF board. It's just very dense like that. And then it's an aluminum oxide wheel with a medium grit is the way that 3M specifies it. So the 7 density, you can imagine like you took 7 inches of this stuff and you compacted it down into 1 inch. Where the other one is a 2 density, so it's like taking 2 inches of Scotch-Brite and condensing it down to 1 inch. So the other one is much less dense. So the way I like to explain it to people, the cut polish wheel, or the 7A6 here, will, if you cut a piece with a bandsaw, it has serrated marks in it. You can go over to this wheel and you can work it on this wheel, and it'll take all of that off and make a nice smooth brushed look finish. Because it is a cutting wheel, it removes material. The other wheel here, when you do that same thing, you'll have polished bandsaw marks. So it's not removing as much material, it's more polishing. Also, when you use this wheel, I should have had a test piece with me. I will use this little card here. When you use this wheel, you're holding it this way. You don't want to present the material to the wheel in line with the wheel. You want to always have the material at an angle. The reason is it will cut the thin aluminum material will just cut a groove in here eventually. And then the groove will be too hard to use when it gets too deep, and you'll have to dress the wheel, and I have a different video on that. But you'll have to dress the wheel to remove that ridge. But if you present the material sideways like this, about a 45-degree angle, then you don't have to worry as much about cutting that groove, and the wheel lasts much longer because you're not dressing it and getting rid of a bunch of it. The wheels are very expensive, so you want to take care of it as best you can. And like I said, they'll be your best friend in the workshop. So the 2S1, or this, I guess our part number is 3MW77S6. Sometimes we make part numbers different from the other part numbers, and that's the case in this. But this is fine grade grit and 2 density. So I can actually take this wheel and I can bend it, and I can squeeze it and bend it. So it's more dense than like a Scotch-Brite flap wheel, but it's not nearly as dense as the other one. And like I had said before, with your bandsaw marks, this would just polish the top of them. So in practice, what I do is I take the part to the cut and polish wheel and just zip it around real quick to take off all of the little punch nubs and the, I don't know how to describe it, the factory edge to deburr. And then I come back, I just do that real quick, and then over to this one real quick to go around the part again and kind of soften up those edges, take the sharp corners off. So that's how I do them, just one on each side of the bench grinder. Okay, so that's going in the box. More packing material. And then we have 2 different pieces for trailing edges. I'm sorry, there's 3 different pieces here. It's already in the package. I'm going to have to unpackage it in my boxing video. So we'll come back to these. There's a lot of questions about these at Oshkosh. Let me switch cameras here so you can see what I'm talking about. The trailing edge squeezing dies is what we're talking about here, and then the trailing edge countersinking jig. So the reason for the countersinking jig is there's 2 sides. One is for the RV14 elevator, which is the other side. It's marked 14. And then this side is for all of the other control surfaces that use trailing edge wedge. So the wedge that comes to a point is countersunk with the side that does not say 14. And the elevator trailing edge on the 14 that comes back wider at the trailing edge, that's on the other side that says has 14 engraved into it. Oh, I have another one here actually that has the 14 on it. So that would be for the single use of the 14 elevator trailing edge wedge, which is you lay that trailing edge wedge onto the jig, and that presents a perpendicular surface to your drill press. So you can go along and countersink those holes with the drill press, and it provides a nice clean concentric countersink to that wedge, whether it's the AEX wedge or the RV14 elevator trailing edge wedge. Okay, so that's this tool here, and you can just clamp this to your drill press top or tape it down, whatever works for you. So that'll go in the box, and then we have these two safety pin squeezing flat sets. Again, one of them is for the RV14, which is the red one. Specifically 14 elevator, which is the red one. And the other one is for all of the other control surfaces, which is the blue one. So when you're setting these rivets in the trailing edge here, you would begin to set those with a pair of normal flat sets and just set them until they puff up in the hole along the whole row. And then you would come back with these, and you would squeeze these to finish that rivet off. And they have the angles built into the end of the flats so that it matches the angle here. The reason for the safety pin on there is to index those sets in the right direction. So a lot of people will take a rubber band and go around the inside of the safety pin and then around the back of the squeezer yoke, so it holds that from swiveling while they're trying to use the tool. So that's the blue one again for all the other trailing edges except the RV14 elevator, and then the same thing for the 14 elevator. It's just the other direction. So the angles are it's a different angle, but they're also opposite. That's the reason for the two. You'll notice that the blue one has been bead blasted. That's to add a texture to it so that it doesn't want to slip off as you're putting that pressure on the rivet. It tends to grip the rivet better. We've had some people that don't like these and some people that love them. So it's kind of a personal preference. And a lot of it is how good you are with that technique of using the mushroom set and rotating it while you're setting the rivet. So different techniques. So I'd like to hear some feedback on from Ken and Melissa on how they like this and what they think of it. So those are the last things to go in the box, and then we will pack up the box or tape up the box and send it out to you. So I look forward to seeing the unboxing video. Thanks.